What's happening, guys? Supernova here, back with another video. And the reason I'm making this video is because I had someone recently ask me, yo, Nova, are you going to do a review on Metal Gear Solid Delta? And I told him, no, I'm actually not, because, you know, we heard about kind of the performance issues with that game, and I decided instead of, playing Delta, which supposedly had these performance issues, I would instead put my attention towards a game I hadn't really played before called Lost Soul Aside, another game I was really interested in. And so I told him, I'm going to be playing Lost Soul Aside, and I'm not going to do a review on Delta, because by the time I get around to Delta, no one's going to give a shit about what people think about that game. It's going to be months from now. No one's going to care, right? So all my attention went into Lost Soul Aside. And while this isn't a review of Lost Soul Aside, because I really believe that you shouldn't give a full-on review of a game without having completed it, it is going to be my initial thoughts and impressions and opinions about the game, having played about 17 hours of it. And like I said, while I haven't completed it, I don't want to give a full-on review of it. I think after playing 17 hours, I can really make a decision for myself about what I like and don't like about the game, whether it's for me or not for me, and so on and so forth. So today we're here to talk about Lost Soul Aside. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, even if I wanted to make a review of this game, I don't think that would ever happen, because I'm not entirely sure I'm ever going to fucking finish this thing. I don't know that I'm ever going to finish it. Not because it's long. It may be long. I don't fucking know. But because I'm just really finding it hard to get myself through this game. I honestly can play like 2 hours at a time, and I'm like, all right, that's enough. I'm done. I'm done with this fucking game for now. I'm really finding it to be a slog at this time. And again, what I'm about to tell you and what I'm about to talk about, these are my opinions. These aren't facts. These are my opinions about the game. My buddy who's playing the game, he's actually really enjoying the game. Me, not so much. But before I really get into the shit here, let's first talk about what Lost Soul Aside is. Lost Soul Aside is an action RPG that very much wears its inspiration on its sleeve. It's very easy to see while you're playing it, the inspirations of Final Fantasy or a Devil May Cry type game. And it was developed by a studio called Zero Games. Now, it started off actually as a prototype developed by one Chinese developer. Sony happened to see this prototype, liked what they saw, and decided to put some financial backing into it, growing that person into a 40-person studio now known as Zero Games, and becoming part of Sony's China Hero Project, which is basically a program that's designed to look for and fund Chinese developers. Now, while the final product may differ from whatever the prototype is that Sony saw, I can't fathom what the fuck they looked at, where they were like, oh, yup, that right there, we need to put some fucking money into that shit. Honestly, if I'm being real, somebody over at Sony or PlayStation needs to get fucking fired. Someone needs to go, because someone saw whatever this fucking game was and decided we need to put a bunch of money behind this and develop it into something exclusive for our platform. Someone also saw fucking Concord and was like, oh yeah, we need to fucking invest God knows how much money into that thing. Even to the point where I think Herman Hulse said that it was a Star Wars level property. Yo, they are fucking straight up huffing galaxy gas over there at fucking PlayStation. I don't know what the fuck is going on. But either way, regardless of whether what they saw originally was fantastic or not, I can't speak to that. All I can speak to is the final product we got here today. And I gotta be honest when I tell you that for me, and again, this is very much for me, Lost Soul Aside is, what's the technical term for it? Dookie sauce. This game is 100% fucking dookie sauce dog shit. It is, it's rough. It really is. In just about every way. There is damn near zero redeeming qualities to this game for me. It's a strange game in so many ways. Not because the game itself is weird. It is weird, but it's a Asian action RPG. They're all fucking weird. Look at Final Fantasy and tell me Final Fantasy doesn't have some weird shit in it. Of course it does, right? A lot of these Asian games have weird shit in them, and it's not weird in that sense. It's weird in the sense that so many times as I'm playing this game, I find myself scratching my head and saying, why the fuck would they do it this way? Or why does it work like this? Or who thought that this was a good fucking idea, right? Like, this is what I find myself asking myself the time as I play this game. And let me start off with the positive, right? Because for me, there's next to no positives. But if I was going to give this game any positive, it's that the combat is enjoyable, right? Is it amazing? No. Is it fucking spectacular? No. It's enjoyable, right? It's decent. It is average to slightly below average at best, but it's not god awful, right? So let's start there. The combat is okay and at times can be somewhat enjoyable. Outside of the combat though, everything else, and I do mean everything else, is horrible. The enemy designs I find are not great, not very original, samey. They all look the fucking same. They all kind of act the same. The environments I don't think are that amazing looking. The game has a very generic feel about it when it comes to that sense. The story, don't ask me to tell you what the story is because I could not fucking tell you. To me, it doesn't make any fucking sense. The voice acting is also terrible. It has some awful voice acting. And then the dialogue. I don't know if it was that the dialogue was written poorly or that the dialogue was originally written in Chinese and then translated to English and the translation is just bad, but the dialogue in this game is just like, oh, I wish these people would just not speak ever, because when they open their mouths, I'm like, these are the fucking dumbest people I've ever seen in my goddamn life. Now, again, not because the things they're saying are dumb, just because it doesn't make any fucking sense. Or they repeat things. Like one person will say something, and then the next person will pretty much say the exact same thing that person said. Then for the first person to then kind of reiterate the thing they just said. And it's like, yeah, I know. You just said it. Then he just said it. Then you just fucking said it again. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, it's so fucking stupid that they open their mouths all the time. And I'm like, oh my God, why? Also, they didn't record nearly enough dialogue when it comes to certain interactions. For example, opening up a chest. You open up chests throughout the game, and every time you open up a chest arena, the little floating dragon alien thing around your body will go, oh, you have all the luck. And it's like, yeah, I know. You said that the last 80 times I opened a fucking chest. Like, it would have been better if he just didn't say anything fucking at all, right? Just let me open the chest, I get my goodies, and I'm good. But when I open a chest and it goes, oh, you get all the luck every fucking time I open a chest, after like the 20th chest, you're like, shut the fuck up, Arena. I know. I have all the luck. I get it. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. Right? Like, it's like, why? Fucking why? And then like another, and a lot of these things I'm going to complain about are small gripes, right? Like a lot of them are major gripes. A lot of them are small nitpicky gripes. I'll admit that, right? I'm nitpicking some things here, but it's not that it's these small things that make the game not great. It's the totality of all of these small things, right? Like death by 1,000 cuts. You have one small thing that's not great, and it's like, whatever, that's whatever, dude. Don't fucking worry about that. But when there's 1,000 little things, they start to add up, and at a certain point, you're like, who the fuck made this thing? Who greenlight any of these fucking ideas, right? And here's another small gripe, right? Again, small gripe, very nitpicky, but it just goes to like, what was the mentality behind this? When you're traveling from areas of the map, like you travel from like the main city hub to another area, in a regular game, you would get in a boat, the cutscene would show you leaving the dock, cut to black, and then now come back as you are approaching the shore of the new island or the new place or the new map or whatever the fuck is it, right? That's the way it would normally work. Well, in this game, it doesn't work that way. It shows the cutscene of you leaving the dock in the boat, cuts to black, then all of a sudden goes to this kind of like top-down view of like the overworld with like a little Mighty Max Polly Pocket version of you and like a little baby version of the boat, showing you traveling to the new island, to then show you approaching at the dock. Now, the purpose of that little in-between video of mini Micro Machine version of you on the boat, I don't know. It really serves no purpose, because had it not been there, it didn't change anything. Again, admittedly, very, very nitpicky, right? Like, it doesn't change anything. It doesn't negatively impact the game in any specific way. But it's just like, why am I having to watch this when it doesn't do anything, right? Like, you could have just cut that whole thing out and it would have been the exact same thing. I left this place, arrived at that place. Why the Micro Machine Polly Pocket Mighty Max little fucking clip of me in the Micro Machine Mighty Max Polly Pocket boat going from place A to place B? I don't know. But it goes to show the kind of thought process when they went into making this game, where there's just a lot of things where you're like, why did they do it that way? Right? I don't get it. Let me give you probably one of the biggest examples of something where I'm like, why the fuck would they do it like this? Because to me, it makes zero sense from a gameplay perspective. Also, just from a visual perspective, it's like, who the fuck thought that this was a good idea? Now, in a game like Final Fantasy VII, for example, your blades have little slots in them, which are basically little circles that are empty. These slots are made specifically for an item called materia. Materia are kind of these little spheres or orbs that you would slot into the weapon to give your weapon certain abilities or certain buffs, which is cool, right? And then when you slot them into the weapon, you can now see those little orbs fitted into the slots in the weapon. Now, Lost Soul aside, very much a game inspired by Final Fantasy, has these weapon charms you can put on the weapon, and each one gives your weapon different buffs or different abilities. And originally, when I saw that there were 6 slots, I thought that as you place these items onto the weapon, they would kind of work their way up the blade, right? Like you put it in the first slot, then in the second slot, and they would just kind of work their way up the weapon as a visual representation of the charms or relics on the weapon. But no, they don't work that way. They literally just fucking overlap one on top of another, where they all sit in the same fucking space. So now when you're looking at the weapon, there's just this weird mishmash of fucking images just fucking sitting right on top of one another. Why they did it this way? I don't know. It doesn't make any fucking sense. It's kind of weird, but hey, okay, whatever. It's in the menu. Who gives a shit, right? Except that when you leave the menu, that's what your fucking weapon looks like. Your weapon looks like that fucking image you saw with all the fucking images just fucking stamped one on top of one another. To where I've got this cool looking dual blade weapon, which is fun to use and cool looking, except for the fact that it's got this giant fucking rose and other mangled bullshit stamped right on top of it. Again, nitpicky, small thing, but it's like, who the fuck thought that this was a good idea, right? Like in the menu, if they wanted to stamp them one on top of one another, even though it looks weird, at least it's just in the menu. But even in the menu, it didn't really make a whole lot of sense, and it's like, why would they do it this way? But then to have that carry over to what your weapon looks like outside of the menu, it's like, why? What kind of fucking sense does this make? And again, I admit, nitpicky. It's almost like I'm just looking for things to bitch about, and maybe I am. But the point is that this goes to the point of the thought process behind all kinds of shit in this game, where you're playing and then you're just like, why would they do it this way? Who thought that this was a good idea? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't look good. It doesn't sound good. It just, all around, this is what I find myself asking myself as I play this game. And it's not just the things like that. Like I said, it's got terrible voice acting. The combat for me is, while enjoyable, the combat encounters, they start to not being as much fun, right? After about 2 hours, I get bored of the combat encounters. I find the exploration to be very, very boring. I find the puzzles to be almost brain dead boring. There are times where the music just kind of cuts out and there's almost no sound. It feels like 30 to 40% of whatever sound effects or music or ambient sounds you should be hearing in that scene are just not present. There are times where the song that's playing in the background just kind of abruptly ends and then starts over again, as if the song or music in the background wasn't designed to loop, right? Because in most games, if you sit in one spot and you just chill there for hours, whatever the background music is, it just plays forever. It's designed to loop so that there's no weird cuts or abrupt stops to the music. In this game, multiple times throughout the game, you'll hear the music just fucking cut and then come back in. Now, I don't know if that's an audio glitch where the music is cutting out and then starting up again, or if the music was just not designed to loop. Either way, it's weird, and it's hard to not notice when you're playing as the music just abruptly stops, especially, like I said, when in most scenarios, it feels like 30 to 40% of whatever ambient sounds you should be hearing are just not present, right? It's just, again, This game for me feels very much like a AA game, which it probably is, right? The team of 40 people, it's not a big team. It's not like, you know, one of PlayStation's major AAA studios. This isn't Sony Santa Monica. This isn't Naughty Dog. This isn't Insomniac. It's a 40-person team. I get that. But the game was also $60 fucking. And while that's not, you know, quote unquote, full price by modern PlayStation standards, because first-party titles are now $60 is still full price if you ask me, where this game, in my opinion, should have been $30 to $40 max. If the game had been at that price point, it's a lot easier for me to overlook some of the issues, right? You get a game that you paid $30 for. If it's kind of janky and kind of low budget and kind of has issues here or there, I can forgive it. Is a $30 game, is made by a new, you know, upstarted studio with a small team of people. I can forgive some of the bullshit. It was $30. But when you charge me $60, which again, while not quote unquote full price at $70, it's still $60, which is the traditional full price for a game. There are many other games at $60 where the quality is far, far superior to what Lost Soul Aside is. So at $60, I'm sorry, I'm going to come down on the game a lot harder than had I paid $30 or $40. Because for that price, I could have bought another fucking game, right? Like, I honestly, very rarely does it happen where I get buyer's remorse about a video game, right? Like, I would say over the course of my life, there have been 3, maybe 4 times where I've legitimately paid full price for a game at launch and been like, fuck, I wish I would have bought something else, or fuck, I wish I hadn't spent money on this game. I'm usually a pretty good judge by looking at the information that's out there, by looking at the trailers, by looking at reviews, of deciding whether or not a game is for me. And this is one of the rare instances where after buying this game, I'm like, you know what? Whatever fucking performance issues it may have had, I probably would have been better off buying Metal Gear Solid Delta. I honestly do believe that. Because I'm having a hard time getting through this game. It's boring to me. And where there have been other games I played in the past that are kind of similar in tone to this, and in terms of like how the gameplay and the combat encounters work, usually there's something there to kind of get me over the finish line. Usually it might be some type of investment in the characters or the narrative, right? Like the narrative or good characters can help drag someone like me across the finish line of a game that I'm otherwise not enjoying too much, right? But this game does not even have that. Where this game, if it had a good story, had great characters, could have kind of nudged me to the end. It just doesn't. So again, I'm trying to give it a chance. I boot it up for about 2 hours. I play, I get bored out of my fucking mind, and then I shut it off, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna finish this fucking game. And I really hate that that's the case, because leading up to Lost Soul Aside's release, looking at the trailers out there, it really looked like it was going to be a fun game. It really looked like it was going to be that Devil May Cry, Final Fantasy-esque game that really speaks to someone like me, as I love those games. But for me, and again, for me, because you may love this game, And I'm not here to tell you to not buy the game. I'm not telling you to not go out and try and play this game. I'm not telling you that you should not like this game. I'm just telling you that I don't like this game. So for me, it's just, man, again, I don't want to fully review the game because I haven't beat it, but I don't think I'm ever gonna get to that point, and I honestly don't see anything changing in the next however many hours this game is to change my thoughts or feelings about the game. So if this were a review of the game, if I was giving this game a score, this game is a 6 out of 10. Fucking 6 out of 10. I think it falls in lines with what we're seeing in the Metacritic from both reviewers and people that have played the game. And I'm seeing fucking PlayStation fanboys online like, oh, this is bullshit. The fucking Metacritic is trash. This game's fucking amazing. I don't know what fucking crack they are smoking. I don't know what kind of fucking recreational drugs these cocksuckers are doing. I don't see any fucking realm of any multiverse where Lost Soul Aside is more than a 6 out of 10. In any realm of the multiverse where the game score should not be in line with what we're seeing in the Metacritic from both the reviewers and the users, right? Because for me, the user score is far more important than the reviewer's score. Because a lot of times these reviewers, they give fucking games high praise because of all kinds of bullshit in the game that doesn't really matter, you know, because of whatever fucking reasons. But it's the user score that means a lot more to me. And here they seem to be in lockstep. And I gotta say that I am also in lockstep with those scores. This is a 6 out of 10 at fucking best. Again, I don't want to tell you what to do with your money. If this game interests you, if you want to play this game, if you want to buy this game, if you like this game, great. You do you, boo-boo. It's your life. You live it however the fuck you want. I'm just here to tell you what my impressions are and what my thoughts and opinions are. And if you want to use my thoughts and opinions and my impressions to help you make an informed decision on what you want to do, great. That's what I'm here for, right? I'm helping you understand where I sit on the game. But at the end of the day, it is your money. You do whatever the fuck you want, because I'll be damned if I don't buy a game I'm interested in because someone else told me that they don't like it. Because at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck what they like. I like what I like. And I'm going to buy what I want. I'm going to play what I want. And even if someone I know says they don't like it or that they hate it, if it's something I'm interested in, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to play it for myself. I'm going to decide for myself. But that doesn't mean that I don't listen to the opinions of others and take all that information in to help me make an informed decision when going into buying a game. Maybe I take that information and decide while I hear their thoughts, while I hear their opinions, I'm going to go ahead and buy the game anyway because I'm interested in it. Or maybe I take those thoughts and opinions and say, you know what? I was kind of iffy about it. I think I'm going to take a pass, right? I still listen to the thoughts and opinions, take that information in, and help myself make an informed decision on what I'm going to spend my money on. But at the end of the day, I buy what I want because I want to. Fuck what anyone else has to say. And that's all this video is about, right? I'm just trying to help you guys make an informed decision, because if you haven't bought the game yet, or you're thinking about the game, I want you to understand that this is kind of what this game is like, and this is where I'm at with this game. And because I don't want to make this video any longer than it has to be, I'm done ranting about this game, and that's all I got for you on this one. And that's the video, guys. Let me know what you thought down in the comments. Have you played Lost Soul Aside? What are your thoughts and opinions? And as always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next Supernova.